what is Python? So Python is basically a programming language. Now, if you are very new to the programming world, the thing is, even if you want to get into, if you want to create any models, or if you want to create any softwares, or if you want to automate a task, you need to use some language. Now, it can be Java, C, C++, Python, JavaScript. There are a bunch of languages available. But then if you look at the top languages nowadays, it's Python, Java, C Sharp. They are running the market. But when it comes to the AI world, it's Python which is getting all the momentum. And there's also JavaScript there, but then Python has the majority of the stack there. Okay, but why Python? Why not some other language? In fact, if you see the language stack, there are a bunch of languages which are very, very powerful. One of my favorite is Java because that's how I started that's how I started my career. So at the start of my career, I went with Java. I worked on multiple projects, and somewhere in between, I came across Python, and then I loved it. It's not that I hate Java. It's just that both are amazing. So why Python? The first thing is Python is easy. It's damn easy language. We'll see that when we start with the actual implementation. Then Python has multiple styles. Okay, so when I say styles, if you have the experience of programming, there are different types of programming paradigm we work with. So we have functional style of programming, we have object oriented, we have procedures. So just to give you an example, when you talk about C language, C is a procedure oriented language. Then we have JavaScript, we have Haskell. Those languages are functional. And when it comes to Java, Java is object oriented. But Python said, hey, I can support all. So irrespective of which paradigm you want to use, Python supports all. The next big reason why people normally go with Python is the bunch of libraries it supports. So the thing is, when AI came into picture, in fact, it's way back in 1930s somewhere when they thought of implementing AI for the computers, but then it took time because we were not having so much of computing power in those days. But now, thanks to the supercomputers, thanks to the web services, we have great computing power. So when AI was getting famous recently, the mathematicians, because they are the people who normally prefer to work on AI models, not programmers. Programmers normally they talk about AI, but not that much. So when mathematicians they wanted to create their own model, they built some AI model, and if you want to make it work, you have to write a code, right? But that's the problem, right? As a mathematician, you don't want to spend much of your time in learning a programming language like C, C++, Java. Some might learn a language, but then others they don't prefer learning a new language, which is difficult to learn. Example, C and Java, they are damn difficult to start with. So they went with Python because Python is easy. So they started with Python, and then using Python, they built some libraries, some models. Now, as a newcomer to the AI world, which language you will choose? Of course, right? You will go to Google and you will search for which is the best language to start on AI. Is it Python, Java, or C? Most of the answers would be Python. Not because it's a great language for AI, it's because it has multiple libraries. So let's say if you want to start with TensorFlow, it is built on Python. If you want to work with, if you want to do some visualization, there are a lot of tools available. Like we have Pandas, then we have Matplotlib. We also have one more library which is scikit-learn, which is amazing. So Python has all these libraries available. And one reason, okay, this is not just for Python, but for multiple languages. See, whenever you choose a language or whenever you want to learn a language, one thing to consider is the community support. See, the thing is, of course, when you work on a project, you will get stuck somewhere. And when you get stuck somewhere, you need help. Now, it can be paid help, it can be free help. See, for normal people, for students, or for individual learners, free help is more important, right? They don't want to pay for every help. But when it comes to the corporate, when it comes to industry, they want help, but then they're ready to pay to get that help. In both the scenarios, when you want help, you need a community who can provide you with the help. And luckily, Python has the huge community. So if you get stuck somewhere, maybe you can just go to Stack Overflow, post your question. There will be helpful experts, they will give you the answers. So it has a great community, and they are working very hard to give you new versions. So now we know why you should learn Python. So in this session, we are going to focus more on the first part, easy part. Of course, we can't do all those things, but at least we can see what Python is and how easy it can be. And of course, if you want to learn more, there are tons of resources available online. You can just go to Google and search for Python tutorials, or you can go to YouTube. As in the introduction that I mentioned, I am a YouTuber, so I have my own Python series. You can check it out, but let's get the basics here. So once we're done with the slides, that's the slide I had. So other slides are just some, we have sponsors and stuff, but then let's focus more on the practical implementation here. Now, the thing is, where you will run Python, will you run this on, okay. Okay, so was the question? I thought there are some questions in the chat. Okay, so let's say if you want to start with Python, how will you start it? So first, I will just do a Google search. So if you search for Python on Google, this is their official website, as you can see, and the latest version they have is 3.8.3. The thing is, when it comes to programming languages versions, there are different versions still running for Python. Recently, Python stopped their support for 2.7. So you can imagine Python 3 was launched somewhere in 2010 or 12. It's been 10 years now, and then still they are using Python 2.7. But now they have finally stopped the support. So you have to move to Python 3.8 or 3.7. So when you say 3.x, all the versions, all of the minor versions with minor changes, so you can just write your code here and there, it works. So basically, in your machine, you need to have a Python setup. Now, fortunately, if you're using Linux or Mac, you will be having Python by default. But I guess they will give you 2.7 as the default version. How will you verify that? So you can just open your terminal if you are using, okay, I was doing some experiment before this session. Let me just come out from here. Okay, so how do you verify if you have Python? So if you are using Mac or Linux, fortunately, you will be, if you search for Python version, you will be getting 2.7. Now, even if you update your Mac, that's the version you will get because there are some libraries in Mac which are still using 2.7. But what if you want Python 3? So in that case, you need to install Python 3. For Windows, you will not be having any Python version. I personally feel as a developer, Windows is not for developers, okay? Windows is for business professionals. The moment you say you are a developer, you are into tech world, start using Linux, or worst case, switch to Mac. If you don't want to spend that much, go to Linux. Okay, so if you are using, if you want Python 3, you can just search for Python 3. Do we have that here? I hope you will have. So yeah, so in this machine, I do have Python 3 installed. But in case if you don't have it, that's fine. Just fire this command. Your prompt, your terminal itself will give you suggestion to install it. And I know you can just type a command, sudo install, and then it will give you the Python 3 version. Otherwise, if you want to go step by step, you can just go to downloads on the website. You can download the version and you can get started. Okay, but let's say if you have Python installed, let me just open Python here. So I will say Python 3, and this is my Python prompt. Okay, so whatever things I want to do, I can just write it here. Now, the thing is, when you start learning a language, you really want to know what it can, how far it can help you. Will it be only for addition of two numbers or basic operation, or can I build a big application? Maybe can we build enterprise application using Python? And the answer is yes. Personally, I will not prefer using Python for big applications because compared to Java, it is a bit slow. It's on the slower side when you implement it. But when it comes to AI, when it comes to uh, the machine learning models, it's not just about speed, it's about how fast you can implement it and can you get all the features uh, which is needed for the particular projects. And Python fulfills all those requirements. Okay, let's get started with the code here. Now, first of all, I'm just assuming that you are new to programming. So first of all, why do we write code? So the thing is, in the world of computers, in the world of information, in the world of AI, everything will be done with the help of robots, right? Okay, I know a lot of people do get confused that when they hear this term robot. See, when I say robot, don't imagine Rajnikant in the robot movie, or don't imagine Shah Rukh Khan in Ravan. It should not always be a humanoid. It should not be always some machine representing humans. Robot is something which can automate your task. Example, let's say if I want to send 100 emails, and I'm damn lazy to send those 100 emails, I can just write a script. And every time I want, maybe I can set some timer or something. So that's an automation script, right? But then what if you can add some intelligence? Let's say it is Diwali, but I'm not even sure. I mean, I don't know as a human that it's Diwali today. Maybe I'm sitting in some cave. I want to wish everyone happy Diwali. It should be automated. I want to wish everyone all the festivals. In this case, maybe I can just write some code and it can wish it, or maybe I can just create some smart system implementing some artificial logic. So basically, if you want to do anything artificially, or if you want to add intelligence which is artificial to the machine, you need to write a code to automate that task. So how do we do that? So let's start with something. Let's add two numbers, because that's what we do, right? When you say a programming language can run on the computer, computer can compute, it can also calculate. That's what we have to start with. So can we add two numbers? Let's start with that. So this is a Python prompt. When I say 2 plus 3, we got 5. So this is working. In fact, not just this, you can do all the calculations. So after this session, if you get time, try to do 4 minus 2 and all the operations which you like, all the mathematical calculations, and they will work. But then we don't want to focus on this basic operations. Maybe we want to perform some operation. I want to print something. I want to print hello world. In that case, you can simply say hello world. But then in programming, if you want to perform some operation, you have to pass functions. You have to call a function, because that's how you achieve your task. And if you want to perform some operation, you will call a function called print. Now, this is a function which is inbuilt in the system. When you say Python, it has multiple inbuilt functions. But don't worry, if you want to create your own functions, you can still do that. So that's the awesomeness about programming, right? You can create functions, you can call inbuilt functions. So we can see we got hello world. I mean, not just this, you can print whatever you want. You can print your name, you can print your company names, and everything should work. Now, when it comes to programming, there's one more important thing which need to consider is about variables. See, doesn't matter what type of application you create, all the application need to have one thing in common, which is data, right? Even artificial intelligence or machine learning models, they work with data. Without data, you can't run these sophisticated models. So where do you store your data? So basically, all the data which you store, maybe your name, your age, your mobile number, will be stored inside a variable in a code. So what variable I'm talking about? So let's say I want to work with my name. So I will say name equal to Navin. So I have this data Navin, which is stored inside this variable name. And if I want to use it, so I can simply say print. I can just print that name, and it should print Navin, right? It's that awesome. Not just name, I can save anything I want. That's how Google stores all your information, right? So Google even knows about your chats. Maybe Google is also monitoring this meet, and they are saving every word which I say, maybe for ads. So if you're attending this session, maybe you will get a mail from Google for all the words which we have talked about. I know that's scary. But I can store everything I want. I can also store my mobile number here. So maybe my mobile number is 1234 018 or something like that. Then we can also store, say that we can also store your address or something. So we can do whatever we want. So all these things get stored inside a variable. Now, why do we call it as a variable? Is because you can change the value of it. Example, today my mobile number was 113. So example, if I print my mobile number here, you can say just print the mobile number. But what if I want to change in future? So let's say I'm switching to a new mobile number, and that number is something like this. And if I say enter, and if you say print, that's my new number. So basically, we are changing the value of mobile number. So that's why this calls variable. Can we store huge amount of data, not just one or two variables? What if you want to store a bunch of data? I mean, that's how machine learning model works, right? It will not work with simple variables like name or mobile number. They work with big data. So in big data, you have GBs or TBs of data, and your model need to access that data to make sense out of it. In that case, we can create a list of values, something like this. I can say nums equal to, I can have bunch of values here. Let's say 70, 87, or maybe 9, maybe 23. We can have 48, 45. We can have 67. So we can have a bunch of values here, right? So we are storing those values there. And we can also print them. So if I say nums, you can see we have all the values here. Now with these values, you can perform literally operations. Example, when you talk to Siri or Google Assistant, now how they actually work. Example, if I say, hey Siri, who is Navin Reddy? Okay. Okay, that's weird. My Siri got activated. That's weird. So I will say, hey Siri, who is Shah Rukh Khan? His mobile number? Okay, don't worry. This Shah Rukh Khan is my friend. Okay, not the actual celebrity, but you got the point, right? So basically, when you say something to Siri, Siri has huge amount of database, and it will search for data in that database. Okay, uh, so when I said, "Hey Siri, what's okay?" It again activated. That's bad. So when I said, what is who is Shah Rukh Khan and what's the mobile number? In that case, Siri was searching my contacts. So it searched all the contacts, and it got Shah Rukh Khan as a contact. So basically, that's how they work. Not just for your contacts, they have a global database where they search. So in this code, of course, we don't have much time to elaborate more, but then if you want to see the actual code, how it works, what we can do is we can write a small code where, in fact, there's one more thing before going ahead. What I want to do for this session is I want to create a small code where we can search for a particular value in bunch of values. Example, how Siri searched for my name in the contacts. So before going ahead, I just want to see if there's any question in the chat window. There's none, so I can just go ahead. Okay, which prompt was open? I should keep the chat window open. Okay. So just wanted to check if I'm making sense, everyone. Okay, now one more awesome thing about Python is it is easy, right? So when I said it is easy, how? Example, let's say if I have two variables here, which is A is equal to 3 and B is equal to, okay, so Niket, I was talking about that. So how do you swap two values? So let's say we have these two variables, A is 3 and B is 2. Now, how do you swap these two values? In other languages, you need to use a third variable which will preserve one of the value. So maybe you can take C, and then C will take a value of A, then A will take a value of B, then B will take a value of C. But in Python, it's very easy. You can simply say A comma B is equal to B comma A. That's how you swap the values. So now if you print A, you can see we got 2. Now if you print B, you can see we got 3. So that's how you swap the values in Python. So it is easy. It is just an example of letting you know how easy a language can be. But then we don't want to work with single line of operation. We want to write a code where we can search for values. So what I will do is I will use an IDE or maybe an editor instead of using IDE. So if you want to write complex code, this is not a place. This is not a place where you can write complex code. Now that's where you can use editors. Maybe you can use Notepad. We can use Sublime. We can use Atom. Or one of my favorite is VS Code. So you can use that. Or for Python specifically, we can use PyCharm, which is great. So what I'll do is I will create a new file. If you want to write a Python code, you just need to save that file with py extension. That's very important. So demo.py. Okay, it already have demo.py. Let's replace it. So that's my demo.py. Here we can write a code. So just to confirm how it works, what I will do is I will just print my name. I just hope you can see my screen and the text as well. So I will print Navin. And how do we run this? So we need to open terminal. So I will say view. Okay, what's wrong? Why I'm not able to see it? It's here. Okay, so I will open terminal and here I will just run this code. So how do we run this code? It's very simple. You just have to say Python 3 and you have to mention the file name, which is demo.py. And when you say enter, you can see we got Navin here. Now that's weird. We have multiple Navins here, but this works. So we can write complex code and that's how you can run. So what I would do is I have a list of values. So let's say, let me get a list of values here. Maybe I can say 45, 34, 78, 21, 99. I'm just going with random numbers. And I have a particular value. Let's say n is equal to 21. So I want to search 21 in this list. Is it possible? Yes, it is. So what I will do is to search that thing, I will apply a while loop. So I will apply a while loop. Now, what is while loop basically? So if you want to repeat something, you will use a loop. Maybe you can use a while loop. You can use do while loop. You can use do we have do while loop in Python? Not sure, but you can use while loop. You can use for loop. Okay. So if you want to repeat something, you will use loop. Example: every day you eat, you sleep, you take a bath. So you do things in a cycle way, right? That's a loop. Uh, so in this loop, we have to go for the iterations as well. We have to check for the conditions. Again, I mean, of course, we can't learn all the syntax here. For that, you can use Google or you can watch the videos on YouTube. What's important is just try to understand the code. And even if you can, that's great. Even if you're not, that's okay. You can just learn them step by step. So what I would do is I have a counter. So we will use a counter here, a very simple counter. I will say I equal to 0. Now, basically for counting the iterations, normally we prefer I variable or J variable. There's no compulsion to it, but that's a preferable variable names. So what I will do is I will check if, so I have to search for the value, right? I have to search for 21 I have to compare 21 with each value here. So I will check, hey, is it 21 equal to 45? No. Is it 21 equal to 34? No. Is it 21 equal to 78? No. Is it 21 equal to 21? Yes. The moment I get the match, I have to stop the execution. Okay, how will I do that? So first of all, I have to go to each and every variable, right? So I have to iterate. I have to jump to different index numbers. So I will just say I less than, okay, so I have to reach till the end, right? I have to stop here. What if you're searching for 22, which is not in the list? So I have to stop somewhere, right? So I have to stop whenever the length of the list is done. So I will go to the length of the list, or maybe time bin, what I will do is I will say 5. Okay, just to make it simple because we have 5 elements. And we'll check every time you iterate to the loop, you will say if list of I is equal to n. Now that's how you compare two values. See, single equal to is for the assignment. If you want to assign the values, we will use single equal to. But what if you want to compare two values? That's how you will use double equal to. Now, in that case, if these two are matching, see, this will not work. This will not be true for the first value. This will not be true for the second value. This will not be true for the third value. But this will be true for the fourth value. Now, in that case, if that's a thing, we'll say print found. That's it. We'll simply print found. But what if we are not finding it? So once you complete the entire loop, see, if you have the value which is there in the list, it will print found. Our job will be done, right? But what if you are not finding a value here? Let's say it is 22. So we have to print not found somewhere. How will you do that? So what I will do is I will just say found, and I will also say I plus plus. That's how you increment the value. Okay. Should I increment the value? I should be. Okay. Maybe I will be. It's just that, when you work with multiple languages, you get stuck with the syntax. You need to check. Currently, I'm working with Go and Java. So again, Python is a bit scary. So I will say found, right? That's what I want to do. Will this work? Let's try. I will just go back here and say enter. It is processing, but no output. Why it is not printing found? Okay, that's weird. Let me stop the execution forcefully. Keyboard interrupted. Oh, okay. My bad. It should be outside if. It's just that this thing will be executed only when this is true, right? So this, what if this is not true? Then I have to also increment the value. My bad, my bad, my bad. So this print belongs to if condition, but then this statement belongs to while. Okay, there are two different blocks. So you can see when I run this code, we got found. But what if you don't have that value? So let's say we have 22 here. So 22 is not there in the list, right? So it is not printing anything. Of course, you can write a code so that it will print not found. Maybe you can just add a flag here. If it is found, then you can print something. But again, it will make our code more complex. I have this entire code available. I have the entire program available on YouTube. You can check it out. So just to give you a head start, so if you can search for Telusko on YouTube, they have